pagado. De los
Ay, los pollos, pobrecitos.
Pues acabamos de volver hace 10 días de hacer una ruta de Barcelona a San Sebastián para trabajar en proyectos de innovación de foodtech. Y aquí la experta en foodtech para explicar un poco por qué es y por qué hemos hecho este programa.
Bueno, foodtech es, como la palabra indica, la fusión de dos ámbitos, que es el ámbito de la alimentación, de la comida, con la tecnología. Entendida tecnología, no solo el concepto de digitalización, sino también cosas más amplias como la biotecnología. Y hemos visto como en otros sectores la tecnología ha impactado de forma disruptiva, creando nuevos modelos de negocio e incluso haciéndose tambalear los modelos de negocio tradicionales y creando nuevas experiencias en muchos de ellos, como pues, en transporte, en el hospitality, en alojamiento, etc. Y sin embargo el mundo de la alimentación iba como un poco más lento en todo esto. Pero en los últimos años pues sí que se ve que hay realmente una serie de tendencias que están impactando en toda la cadena de valor de la alimentación, que va desde el campo, y yo solía decir hasta la mesa del restaurante, pero incluye también hasta el cubo de la basura, ¿no? Porque si tú divides esa cadena de valor de la alimentación en segmentos, te das cuenta que en cada uno de ellos la tecnología, desde el Internet de las cosas hasta la inteligencia artificial, la realidad virtual o las biotecnologías genéticas, pueden impactar para tener eficiencias, nuevos productos, nuevas experiencias de usuario, nuevas formas de hacer cosas antiguas o cosas incluso que ni siquiera nos pensábamos, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, en cada uno de esos segmentos, desde el retail, el supermercado del futuro, el restaurante del futuro, las fábricas, hasta en la cocina, cómo vamos a comprar, cómo vamos a cocinar, pues hay toda una revolución por delante de nosotros y de todo esto va el Imagine, ¿no? El programa.
Entonces eso es un poco esta cadena de valor de la que hablas y lo que es el Imagine es un programa de 10 días donde llevamos a 9 emprendedores a un viaje inspirador. Teníamos 12 nacionalidades. 13 nacionalidades.
7 idiomas.
Sí.
No.
Sí, 7 idiomas, 13 nacionalidades. Hicimos 9 visitas a compañías, éramos más de 20 mentores que iban entrando y crearon 3 proyectos de innovación. Entonces es una colaboración del Basque Culinary Center, que es una institución pionera en ciencias gastronómicas. No solo enseñan a cocinar a los chefs, sino a innovar en el sector de la gastronomía. Y luego es una colaboración con Imagine Creativity Center.
Imagine es un proyecto donde generamos soluciones de innovación disruptiva para las grandes empresas que lo buscan. Las grandes empresas tienen muchas ganas de innovar, ven la necesidad de hacerlo, pero normalmente están muy encasilladas en su forma de hacer, en su expertise y en su status quo, y no tienen la agilidad y la rapidez y el atrevimiento para hacerlo, entonces vienen a nosotros. Y nosotros, siendo pequeños y rápidos y ágiles y no teniendo miedo, buscamos a personas de talento, emprendedores, muchos de ellos, o simplemente personas que representan sectores totalmente distintos al sector del cliente, para aportarle todo este conocimiento, el punto de vista distinto al suyo, para abrir el espectro al máximo, y juntamos por cada reto un equipo de 3 personas así, que buscan una solución al problema del cliente. Y para hacerlo, siempre lo hacemos con un método, tenemos un método propio, que es una mezcla de técnicas de design thinking, de IDEO y nuestras tecnologías de prototipaje, cosas que llevamos validando ya 7 años desde que existe Imagine. El método tiene 4 fases. La primera es inspiración, donde cogemos el problema y lo convertimos en una oportunidad. Es darle la vuelta completamente, ir al grano y descubrir que el enunciado no es el problema real. El problema real es distinto, está muy adentro, y entonces lo reformulas para convertirlo en un inicio de un camino. Y allí empieza la fase de acción, donde abrimos al máximo el espectro, entra todo, cualquier idea, la más loca es válida, y cuanto más loca mejor, de hecho, y de ahí sale una propuesta de valor, ¿no? una idea que vemos que puede ir adelante, que es diferente y que realmente tiene potencial. Esta idea la prototipamos, porque believemos, ya está creemos, we believe in design doing instead of design thinking. Y a partir del prototipo que creamos, validamos, iteramos, o sea, es un prototipo funcional testeado con usuarios, y luego llegamos a la parte de comunicación, porque una buena idea mal comunicada no vale nada, y lo comunicamos para el cliente, para el público general, para los potenciales inversores, y ahí se convierte en un proyecto. O sea, el final de un Imagine en realidad es el punto de partida para los proyectos que presentamos, porque pueden tener muchos caminos. Sí, bueno, el método Lombard es abrir y cerrar, divergir y convergir a base de las ideas que se crean en la sinergia de los talentos del grupo. Contamos con un equipo de mentores y facilitadores del método, pero también lo que nos ayuda muchísimo es esta variedad y amplitud de talento y de experiencia que nos traemos a Imagine, porque la base son creativos, techis y business, porque así cubrimos el espectro de 3, pero en función de cada proyecto también perfilamos un poco, porque las necesidades en cada caso concreto son distintas. Por ejemplo, en este viaje nos llevamos a cocineros, a expertos en diseño de experiencia de usuario, tecnólogos de comida, de todo.
Exacto, estos son los perfiles. Eran 9 emprendedores y había 3 proyectos que estaban sponsorizados por Danone, de la División de Aguas, del Departamento de Innovación de París, luego la Generalitat de Catalunya del Ministerio de Agricultura, y luego Food Republic, que es un colectivo de emprendedores dentro del sector de food tech. Y bueno, que son los program partners. Luego llevamos un equipo de staff y una serie de mentores que se han ido sumando en diferentes momentos del viaje para ayudar a los equipos a desarrollar sus ideas. Hemos visitado compañías, pues hemos colaborado con Bea desde Tech Food Magazine, que es la principal publicación de Food Tech en español. Luego hemos ido a la Fundación Alicia, con el sello de Carmen Roca, ha colaborado en el Singularity Chapter de Bilbao, a Formendi, que es el restaurante más sostenible del mundo de Necoacha, y una serie de visitas que hemos hecho en el camino. Y esto es un vídeo que explica un poco que es el resumen del viaje, que son impresiones de lo que hemos hecho. Hemos empezado en el Van Van, que es un garaje de food trucks en Barcelona, donde esas personas que no se conocían de nada, pues se han presentado. Juan, que vino ayer, nos fuimos a Valldaura, que es un laboratorio de sostenibilidad del Instituto de Arquitectura Avanzada de Catalunya, donde pues presentamos tendencias de food tech, se pasaban los briefings. de los proyectos y luego los equipos eligen los proyectos en los que quieren trabajar. Vino Angélica Blendstrup de Silicon Valley, que es mentora de KINNERNET Startups, y trajo pues, un aire de San Francisco mucho. Y la verdad que todos muy cracks, pues tecnólogos de alimentos, el director de I+D del sello de carne roca, un emprendedor de Actec, él es experto en UX de Telefónica, un chef, ingenieros, diseñadores, o sea, como aquí también lo bonito es juntar personas que normalmente no trabajarían juntos.
Nosotros solemos decir que juntamos a gente que ni se tomaría un café y de ahí sale la riqueza de la aventura. Te quedo muy bien este.
David. Luego llevamos
Esto es espectacular.
con Jordi Rock explicándonos su inspiración. La mejor.
Más por lo que contó, pero simplemente cómo es, ¿sabes cómo funciona su cabeza?
Él es un chocolatero que hace unos chocolates, que ahora está abierto una fábrica para el sello de carne roca. Es una casa sostenible que cuando entras dentro de la casa te quedas sin wifi. Porque hay un shield de infrarrojos. Mira,
Es un computador.
Es una nacionalicia que trabaja con empresas del sector de la alimentación para innovar. Pues es como un departamento de I+D para empresas de alimentación. Todos los equipos van trabajando, presentando resultados, hicimos una clase de yoga por la mañana. Ellos son creativos en el mundo de la alimentación.
Comimos muy mal en este viaje. ¿No?
Sí, sobre todo. Y fuimos al PAMIES Vitae, que trabajan con plantas medicinales y hacen terapias pues, alternativas con, pues, se ve que la stevia en España está prohibida. Y ahí finalmente llegamos al VAS, nos instalamos 4 días allí, trabajando en las instalaciones, que son espectaculares. Él es el director de I+D, que nos dio una clase, que nos explicó la metodología de innovación. Aquí se creó Yulu. Este es el restaurante de Necoacha, que es un proyecto gastronómico muy ambicioso de sostenibilidad en el País Vasco. Le presentamos las ideas y alucinó.
Ah.
Pues entonces había un programa de, pues lo que hemos visto, ¿no? De cada día, se conocen los equipos que no se conocían para nada, nos fuimos a la Masía para hacer el team building, es base de briefings, y un poco los highlights de cada día. Con eso que hemos visto en el vídeo. Nos instalamos ahí en la Fundación Alicia durante 2 días y luego ya nos fuimos de viaje, pasamos por el IRTA, toda la parte más de Actec.
Solo chicas,
Go ahead.
Cuélate.
Yes.
Y el día 10 presentamos los 3 proyectos en el auditorio, vamos a ver los proyectos. Pues un proyecto fue sponsorizado por la Generalitat de Catalonia, que era How Can We Reconnect Producers with Consumers. ¿En español va bien?
Sí.
Y los Dreamers que trabajaron en este proyecto fueron pues, Eloís Vilaseca, que es ingeniera química y la directora de I+D del sello de Carne Roca, John Aldalur, que es un ingeniero mecánico industrial, y Lucho, que es un design researcher y dedicado a temas de UX. Entonces aquí el problema es que todos estos campos que nos gustan tanto están desapareciendo porque hay un problema que a los pequeños productores no les sale rentable el negocio. Y que sobre todo los productos de proximidad, pues en los últimos 10 años han desaparecido más del 40% de las superficies o de los productores locales. ¿Por qué? Porque entre que el productor produce algo y llega al consumidor hay muchos intermediarios y el productor no sabe hasta el final de la temporada cuánto va a cobrar y si va a cobrar, con lo cual ellos abandonan su negocio porque no pueden vivir de él. Y el reframing aquí, o sea, lo primero que se hace en los proyectos es, bueno, vamos a reconectar con el consumidor, con el productor, pero ¿cuál es el underlying problem? ¿Cuál es el problema real? Pues están desapareciendo los productores. Tenemos que permitir a los productores producir bajo demanda y crear una finestra, que es como tu ventana al campo, donde el consumidor le dice al productor lo que va a pedir.
I don't speak Spanish.
You don't speak Spanish, which is fine. So basically, we're just presenting the 3 projects that we.
Continue.
It's fine. It's
No,
fine.
no, it's fine. We can...
That came out of this innovation trip we did with. It's a collaboration between the Imagine Creativity Center from San Francisco and also headquartered in Barcelona and the Basque Culinary Center. So we worked on 3 innovation projects. One of them is La Finestra, which means window in Spanish. That was a project that was sponsored by the Ministry of Agriculture. And they told us there's a huge problem that all the local producers are disappearing because it's not profitable for them to produce fresh food. So the team ideated this solution that's called La Finestra that allows producers to produce on demand. Because basically what happens is that the consumer subscribes to a certain amount of fresh produce so that the producer knows what he needs to produce. So it really goes beyond an online platform because he will know what he has to produce. This is the app, and everything works with an algorithm that's called FairNect. Basically what it does, as a consumer, you say what are the products that you want to order, and then the system takes these orders and distributes them fairly among all the local producers. So every consumer has a virtual garden and connects in a way to their local producers and knows what they are producing. And they also developed a holographic garden where, for instance, for schools, so that the kids can actually see how their veggies are growing in this garden. So what's happening now with this project is that the Generalitat really like the approach, and we are now working with small associations of local producers to test this prototype and to implement it, and they would like, if we validate it, to integrate it in new agricultural policies.
Why are you doing this?
Why? You mean this project or the food tech tour?
The project.
This project. Because there's a real problem here to solve, and I think there are lots of startups or lots of people trying to attack this problem of having a direct producer to consumer e-commerce platforms.
Access.
Yeah, and so there's so many initiatives, but really I think there is missing a layer that integrates all these different initiatives, and if you have the opportunity to work with somebody who actually decides the policies, you can have a bigger impact faster.
But you don't think you're gonna solve anything, or you just want to have impact?
I think the system is really broken.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So the,
I think the idea is, I don't know, maybe you were right later, that 40% of the producers, local producers, have disappeared in the last 10 years because,
Oh wow.
yeah, because for them it's difficult to access to the customers and to get profit of it because big retailers are selling food that comes from abroad, but cheaper. And on the other hand, there are an increasing number of consumers that are interested in getting local food and food that they know who has produced it. But there is a lack of systems to connect these two needs, and that's the idea to facilitate that.
I think the general idea of the whole Imagine Food Tech project and Imagine as a bigger umbrella is that we see that there are lots of needs to change things for the best, and we give this opportunity for companies to come to find their way and to offer us a challenge so we can help them to find a solution for their needs, and we do hope that these solutions actually can change the world for the best. Because the projects that we generate are sustainable innovation and social innovation, and we're happy to say that there are projects that actually succeed and that have made a difference. So we come with a background of happy stories. I know it sounds terrible, but
No,
it is. It's what it is.
It's honest, right? At least.
Yeah, and actually this example is amazing because I think we presented it like a week after we finished the program, and it hit it off straight away. I mean, they really want to develop it right now, and it makes us very happy, and it's a great reward for the team that developed it in less than 10 days. And it's an actual opportunity for the producers to generate new business, a more sustainable business model, and for these 3 people that we discovered, I think we can say that, we give them a job opportunity, which is win-win for everyone.
That's great.
And not only a job opportunity, but the opportunity to get involved in an innovation project, because most of them have their own jobs. But they can get involved in something to create something new.
So we see us as facilitators for generating these connections between people and generating projects that can have a high impact socially or economically. But yeah, so this is why we're doing that. And because we.
Do you think that you have to maybe find like maybe a more core reason? Because it seems like it's a very overbearing reason. So when you say the why was like this is such an important issue. That's why I'm interested in it. Like we're throwing away food, and we have to feed a lot of people. And in home, I mean, do you do that? Do you obey what you teach? I mean, for me, it's hard to.
I try to.
Yeah, me too. I really try to. I want to do more.
But sometimes I realize, and I have to assume that it's not easy. For example, I try to be conscious in what I buy, but sometimes it's not easy to get all the information, to get smart decisions, or at least conscious decisions on what you buy, especially for fresh food. But at least I think I tried.
I feel like France has a good system. At least they're starting in the ugly fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
They sell them in superstores, right? I might be mistaken. But
We
isn't
just
this the
also
case?
passed a new policy where supermarkets are no longer allowed to throw away food.
Right.
They have to donate it.
Where is this?
In France?
Yeah. So
France
this
is really one of the leading countries in this with food waste.
Yes.
They do it policy-wise, but I don't know how it really implements.
This was my follow-up question. Do you know if this works?
For example, I met a company in a trade show last year in Barcelona. This has open the door to a new business model, which is companies that get in charge of getting all the leftovers of the supermarkets and make something with them. So that, because otherwise the supermarkets, for them, they throw away the food because for them it's more comfortable and it's more cheap than making something with it. But if a company comes and says, I'm going to solve you a problem of what to do with your leftovers, I will take the problem from you, and they are able to make a business with it, then you have a new business model and you don't have so much food in the waste bin.
So why has France been able to do this and not Spain or Germany?
I don't know.
I think it's a question of willing.
Are we not all willing?
Wanting, willing.
Willing, I mean, the voluntad, es una cuestión de voluntad. I mean, such a law is not, it's for example, as in Spain, suddenly it was forbidden to give the plastic bags in the supermarkets. And at the beginning, oh my God, how we are going to deal with that without the plastic bags. There was a law, and now everybody deals with it.
I think it's really a necessity to solve these kind of problems, and there are some governments who are leaders in implementing these kind of policies, and this is what France has been doing with food waste and the ugly fruit, and now there's a new policy in France. I think in all the new buildings you have to either put solar panels or gardens on the rooftops. So I think all this is happening, and there are leaders like France in this space, and hopefully Catalonia, we can have a small impact, because obviously as consumers we are conscious about what we buy, where we buy, and we make an impact, but it's rather small compared to if you're able to bring together already existing initiatives in the space.
I believe that the beauty of these solutions is that they go directly to the customer, and they allow the community itself to take action without waiting a solution from above. Because I don't know if we're talking with you about this, or someone else in the past week, but there's a study that said who throws more food, restaurants, supermarkets, or families. Families are like 60% of food waste. It's not restaurants or supermarkets. So it's our own consciousness of planning how we buy it and how we consume it. So all of these solutions contribute to our conscious relationship with production, with food, with consumption. So we don't have to wait for this big legal level change.
Do you have numbers about the other 40% restaurants and supermarkets?
I think some figures.
There are restaurants and there's
Well, the main bulk comes before. So the main food waste comes from production. That means in agriculture and before it goes to the retail. Okay, and then after it goes to the retail comes the figures that Daria is commenting, and it's families, retail, and then restaurants. Restaurants adjust a little bit more, but they even can do more to avoid food waste. And there is innovation on that also.
There's a great platform in the UK that's called Food Olio, Food Revolution, and they talk a lot about food waste, and so just to give you an example, so bananas, they have to have this size, 260 millimeters, whatever, and if they're slightly larger or smaller, they get thrown away. So they throw away 40% of the production, even before it gets into the commercial chain and distributed.
The reason is not because it's not good, it's because they have a standard size for the boxes and for the machines that move all these things, and if the size is not the standard, it's a problem for that. So all this food never even enters into the chain.
I guess assumption 70 to 80% of bananas never been eaten. So some of them are sorted out in the producing countries, then in the supermarket, then at home.
And then by the families in the end that are needing.
They don't have to. No brown ditches, not too green, not too ripe, nothing.
And that's important because in the way we sell food, we are educating people, and probably the way food was sold when I was a young girl, and now, and if we have children, what they see now in the supermarket has nothing to do. And the new generations thinks that all the food, the fruits are perfect, and that steaks don't come from animals, and that milk comes always in a brick. So, yeah, for them it's difficult sometimes to understand that a food that is not absolutely perfect, round and shining, is as good as one that has not this features, or even better sometimes. So, but this is what they have received their whole life. So for them, it's difficult to understand something that they have not ever seen. So let's go to the next project.
So the next project is, and this is a theme really dear to us as food entrepreneurs, that it's so hard to bring a new food product to the retail or to the distribution, because the current system just doesn't allow small players to enter the retail space. You have listing fees, and you have the big food corporations really dominating what is on the supermarket shelf. So this was the brief to the team: how can we close the innovation gap between startups, retailers, and food corporates? And when we analyzed it, so there were three entrepreneurs working on it. Daria, who is the director of a digital agency in Madrid. She's Mexican, and she's also a pop-up chef. Pablo Bárcena, he is an entrepreneur in the gastronomic sector. So he provides actually fresh produce to restaurants. And Sergi, who is a food technologist and teacher at the university. So what is the problem for somebody, for a food startup, when they launch a food brand? This is actually a real product from one of the other participants, from Rosalind. She has launched this casual fruit snack that is healthy and without any fat, without any sugar, like a healthy fruit snack. And her problem was entering the game, the existing game between brands, retailers, and consumer. And we realized that who's really making the calls in these games are the brands and the retailers, and the consumer who has to buy the product is not actually deciding what's on the supermarket shelf. So how can we create a system where it's the consumer who decides what's on the supermarket shelf? And they created Foodador, which is a voting platform for consumers to vote what's on the supermarket shelf. So imagine you discover a new product and you take a picture. So this is how it works. You take a picture, upload it to a platform, people upvote it, and the most upvoted products, they get a spot on the supermarket shelf for a month in a designated innovation corner, innovation area. And if they succeed after 1 month and have a certain rotation, the retailer can then decide what to put on their regular shelf. And this helps everyone really in the game. It helps startups to enter the retail space. Consumers can decide what they want to buy. For the retailers that don't have a protocol to integrate innovation, and for the food corporates, it's creating a knowledge database on what's trending, what customers really want. So this innovation corner in the supermarket could look like this. It's a prototype of a shelf where you have an LCD screen in front of the products where you can touch and get additional information on the products. And what we are generating is a database of food products, like everything that's available, what customers really want. So we can charge startups for a listing fee for entering the retail space. We can charge retailers or collaborate with retailers to get exposure, and for the food corporations, it's a great way to access new innovation.
But it's not only a database of products, but it's also a platform of knowledge of consumer trends and preferences.
Have you started this, or is this an idea, or?
So this is now a project, and we are now, planning on how to implement and how to test and validate it. We have sponsors behind this project that are owners of a retail chain in Catalonia. So we're planning to test it and then roll it out. So really, our ambition always is not to generate really nice ideas, but to actually generate projects for the participants. So yeah, we hope to implement this. And then there's the last project actually, and I will call Marcio to present it. Or he just said, because he...
Are you all involved in this?
Yes.
It was the idea of Malwine and Victor because they are food entrepreneurs. They have several successful projects behind them. So they came to us with the idea because Malwine was a dreamer in 2012. Yeah.
2014.
2014, and Victor was a member of staff in 2012. So they lived the Imagine experience, and we created this collaboration between the Food Republic, Best Culinary Center and Imagine, and we produced the program together.
So we have been one of these dreamers creating a project like this. So in my case, I created a project for an insurance company in Colombia, completely out of my comfort zone. But this is how you generate really interesting projects with people from different
Which
industries.
actually is one of the biggest success cases we have in Imagine.
Yeah.
It is
Imagine the bank or Imagine...
No, Imagine Creativity Center. It's a company between Barcelona and San Francisco, and we do innovation projects for big companies like these. Well, big companies is Danone or other institutions like Generalitat de Catalonia or whatever. Our biggest program is Imagine Silicon Valley, where we go 4 weeks to Silicon Valley, meet Google, Facebook, Dropbox, Airbnb, and get to know all the local infrastructure. And we're bringing 4 projects from Spain, and this year we're bringing Audi, as we talked earlier, RAC, it's an insurance company from Catalonia. I think Inditex will join us, and also Fluidra, it's a company that is doing swimming pools. And we're developing an AR solution for connected and social swimming pools.
Where's that working?
Social swimming pools.
Yeah, learning for kids, for grown-ups. Well, we'll tell you in 2 months. Looks very fun.
Yeah.
So this is it.
So what do we do? I just found
Where is
Marcio.
Marcio?
I think he was in a workshop.
Which one?
He just...
Es Barcelona.
Well, I'll go.
What's a better drink than this water?
A better water.
The better water. So, is there... That was the question.
I don't think there's anything better than water.
This is it.
If there is, that will be kind of wrong, right?
Ambrosia.
Huh?
Ambrosia.
I'm gonna see, what's that? What's ambrosia?
Oh, well, it's a kind of fabulous drink, but it's mystic.
Okay. Well, let's say that. But bubbly water, or like a flavored water, or energetic water? Is that what you're driving?
Champagne?
Champagne. So this is basically the question. So this was issued by Danone, who is the 4th largest company in the world producing bottled water. So, which is a big business, but not very profitable. For every liter of water that you produce, you need 7 liters of water.
Why that? Why?
Just to produce it. It's like meat, no? To produce 1 kilo of meat, how many liters? I think you need like 70 gallons of water.
Okay, that makes sense, but I thought water you just have a bottle to fill it in.
Because the bottle
But you have to
produce
clean the
bottle.
bottles and you have to transport them, and I think
The whole process is very intensive.
so that was really interesting that a water company challenged us to work on a drink that's better than water, and specifically they wanted to work us on how can we improve tap water. Because if it's not them disrupting the bottled water industry, it will be somebody else.
Yeah.
And they're already threatened by companies with filters like Brita and companies making tap water portable. And that was one of the briefs.
Can you take just for a minute because the staff Jula, the innovation of Sabadell, I'll bring him in and so we can
Yeah.
also
Okay.
see this.
Okay, perfect.
We are in English, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Sorry about this, it's just that everyone was a bit late and a friend is talking about something that we was sharing a discussion last night and he's like, you cannot do it. And I'm like, no, I'm doing a presentation now. And he passed by, he's like, nobody's there, run, come. I'm like, okay, I have to. So it's done, I'm done there, so we become your loop now.
But that workshop is supposed to last 2 hours? Because
Yeah, but what I wanted to say is that it was done. So you explained the journey and you showed
We have just explained.
Hi. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Francesc is a no potete usare. Francesc is a good friend of Imagine. We've been working with Bank Sabadell for a while, and I'm really glad he can be here to see the success of this case.
So we just came back from a program that was specifically on food and tech. So we generated 3 solutions across the value chain of food. One project that was for la Generalitat de Catalonia on how to reconnect producers with consumers, and we generated a platform where producers of vegetables can produce on demand, so they actually know how much they will sell at the end of the season. The second project is sponsored by Food Republic, that's a collective of food entrepreneurs, and it's a voting platform for consumers to decide what to find on the supermarket shelf. So it's not the big corporations that decide that we have to drink A, B, and C, but actually it's a path for food startups to enter the retail space. And now the third project that was sponsored by Baden Waters, and this is Marcia who's going to explain it.
So you are familiar with these sort of programs you mentioned? It's sort of a, I don't know how to call it, an accelerator in a certain way, or just not even that. It's like they grab you and they take you in a very nice journey of 10 days, and they let you sleep very little. Every morning they are very, very early adapters, and I'm a late person, so I was struggling for 10 days. And in that time they put us a challenge. Listen guys, what can you find as a solution or a thought or a prototype or whatever, bearing in mind that tap water is available in every house, and we keep on buying bottled water. Why do we keep on drinking bottled water when we know that actually now is damaging the planet more than ever we are aware of it? There's a plastic continent getting bigger and bigger in the oceans, and it takes really taking a lot of time for Earth to get rid of this material. Also, the whole industry of the petroleum and all of this, it's just like if we dig into it, we are going to look at our bottle of water and say, why do I do this? So coming to that challenge, we made some research online, and we found that people actually drink bottled water for a trust problem. So they buy something with a label so they can trust it. This is really the idea that was spreaded. This is accepted, we can control it, it has numbers on it. Now, what we don't know is actually to stabilize it and to put all these labels. They actually probably make worse to the water than what we think. In that sense, so we made a little research. How can we help and use technology to let the user open his tap water at home and feel safe to use it? So we find a lot of it in the market. We find Brita, we find ultraviolets that you install in the house. I found things that I didn't know it exists. I'm like, wow, I can have safe water that I didn't know. And so we come to a point that we said, yeah, but when I travel or if I do all of this, I'm only comfortable in my house. In my house, I will know the water is good, but that's it, it's my house. Every day I leave the house, I come back, I travel, it's so many things. So we decided to create this U-Loop. We've inspired in ultraviolet, seeing what's available in the market that can kill bacteria. We saw as one of the main concerns that people find in their water, apart from excess of chlor or less calcium or magnesium, is the bacteria that can be present plus the virus attached to it. especially when you travel. Like we live in Europe, it's easy, you normally safe all over you go, but you go to India or Mexico and you're probably not going to drink the tap water because your brain tells you not to do it. It's just, so if you have this device, it automatically, it's intelligent, it's connected to your app, so the moment you put it into water, it activates. You open your app and you see the containings of your water. It works through a light, like a spectrogram, a very little device that we found in the market, and it tells you the properties in your water. By 10 seconds, it spins around itself. It's inspired in Dyson system, so it makes a very fast circulation of water, and there's ultraviolet all around it. So we've accelerated like 10 times anything available with ultraviolet. We made it portable, through USB, rechargeable for life. And then we put cartridges on it. So we made all this system up is by cartridges. So I analyze my water, I eradicate the bacteria. But we have to be more honest to people. This process is also killing the water. So you eradicate the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So we keep on drinking dead water. And I'm working on probiotics, vitamins, a lot of research going into it. So I was really like, I need to be honest with people, so how can I control a water to make it, if I'm cleaning it, now how can I make it good and alive? So we find EM ceramics, which is in Japan for many years, that is enzymes incorporated into ceramics that catalyze. It's a propulsor onto the water, invisible by far infrared, so it makes a revert process, so you energize the water again. You can release to this cartridge antibiotics, you can put in this cartridge flavors, you can put diets, you can just go to an infinite of vitamins, calcium. You can manipulate the water to be just water, because you like water, so you don't put any taste, you just feel safe about your water, or you can personalize it. Now your phone is collecting all this data, so we'll go from myth to reality. You're not going to say the water in Barcelona is really bad, in San Sebastian is really good. So you go to the app and you can actually confirm which part of Barcelona maybe is bad. And people say the water in India, never drink it, and you suddenly realize the water in India is better than at home. Look at it. So this is where we are. We've created this prototype in 10 days. In one night we printed it. And now we start to see that our creation is more than just a journey, and it can actually be a reality. We talk with engineers and they told us something really nice. I was like, wow, we didn't think about this. So they say that, yeah, we thought about the principle of Archimedes in this device, and I'm like, didn't? He's like, yeah, by the way it's designed, so it's going to be floating just by itself, because it has already something in physics that it's going to spin on itself already. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So we're using now these engineers to understand how can we optimize price, where to manufacture it, and start with roll-up, schedule, and decide the first stage, second stage, fourth stage of how we want to implant it. I think as a marketing thing I had an idea of doing something like a Pepsi challenge. You guys remember the Pepsi challenge? We'll do the water challenge. So in the airport I'll get you like a stall with water from London, Dubai, New York, real tap water from these countries, and you try it before you loop and after you loop, and then let me know if you know your water. Something like this, it will create a trend and make a little cartoon that combines, like Fido Dido did in his time with my generation, make a new digital cartoon that combines with the youngsters, so you grab everybody. So we're gonna make you loop.
You definitely gonna make it?
I think so.
What do you need to do that?
Now we need to have time, because we didn't sleep for a lot of time. From Imagine we did Construmat, another thing with probiotics and all of this, and now we are here, like team a little bit. There's another, my friend was here yesterday, part of the creator, and we have a third one missing. So we really need, hopefully next week we sit a little bit around and we say, listen, from dream to creation, it's here. This is what came from the influences I've made in the last few days, and what did you get in the last few days, what did you get? We join together and we go from talking to make a proper business plan and understand the reality of who we are in a company that can happen.
And is it your company now, or is it connected to...
We are three. that created this.
It's not connected to Danone. Right?
It's not connected to Danone. Danone decided to present a project that in the end they came to a conclusion that their project was already too developed to be disrupted by new ideas. We would just change the whole thing, and they already spent a lot of money on it. So they sort of, okay guys, you have free mind from now on, just surprise us. And obviously Danone, if you want, you can turn it around and tell Danone, listen guys, you cannot, because this can be a competitor for them. Danone is in the water bottle business, a very big player now, yeah? So this can be the enemy, like you're sponsoring your enemy. But you can go and twist it around and tell them now you're going to make money from tap water and bottled water. So you get the whole market. And maybe the CEO will say, oh, but no, we would try to go maybe Kickstarter, maybe crowdfunding. This is, I think, the best direction for us. We really need just to take a break and put our strength together, the three that created this, utilize all the network that we've been developing in the last few days, and at least try to make it happen. That's a reality that is going to happen. And if the market is ready and the engineers are able to make all this into a device that doesn't overgo in price, because we didn't want to go above 99 euros, because we kill 99% of the bacteria. We get a euro for bacteria. And it's pretty much the story so far.
I think it's great, and I think it's totally insane to use plastic bottles for drinks. So.
It already hurts to be in this event and seeing so many bottles. It really hurts my soul.
Me too. I was thinking.
And they don't recycle it.
I was thinking about
exactly.
opening up a discussion of how we can avoid this next year. So.
No, it's always the same story.
Yeah.
So sad.
But what I've been thinking, have you thought about producing a bottle with this inside instead of just using the device? Because if you have this device, which is great, you still need a plastic glass or something to apply it.
So you can put it,
Put it in, you mean?
You can put it in a glass?
This
or
is the graphics. I was about to show you, but she has it here, so perfect.
Yeah, this is how it was started.
Yeah, you see, very different from the end, but... So when it becomes all green, it pops in your phone that your water is...
But yeah, obviously you could commercialize it with a bottle. This is just really a starting point to...
And probably the idea is that you can create not only the device, but an ecosystem around the device. I mean, we can hire or we can challenge designers to design bottles that fits this device, but that are nice and that you are willing to keep them at home and reuse them.
We're definitely gonna go Dyson Mac, as you see. It's a design product. It's like you need a nice, sexy cover as well to go with it, and then you really want to show it. And it floats on itself and so it's like a must-have. It's a trend. We're very happy about.
Portable.
What has been your experience with taking projects further?
Oh gosh, I have been always an entrepreneur in big companies, so it has a different complexity than being an entrepreneur. But it's pretty hard too. But we tried lately. I work for a bank, and we tried to build our own IoT device for banking at home, and it was so painful. We reached to the point to decide if we wanted to build it in big quantities, and we decided not to go to that market. So it's pretty hard.
Depending on the market.
With all these big guys
I just feel like it's gonna
building
go
hardware or devices like this.
So you think this is a low-end disruption or a high-end disruption?
I think it's a very high disruption.
So
I think so.
what? Obviously, I mean, from my experience, incumbents don't like high-end disruption.
Yes.
Who doesn't like?
Incumbents, the ones who lead the market, they're either gonna kill you or buy you. And
Exactly. I don't the same. In that sense, I thought the same.
So that, because your pricing point is really high end and you're solving a very low end problem, in my opinion, which is very great. We need that. But
and then we imagine also this data. This data can also, it's another model of business for us, because this data values a lot of money after.
yeah, that's what you think at this moment. But when you started, then maybe the data is eventually not going to be your
Until
strong
you have
point. Maybe.
enough data.
Yeah, by the time you get there, your incumbents are going to be all over you.
Yeah, also.
Especially the guy who asked the question. So I'm just trying
you're
to
right.
see it from a different angle, you know. But yeah.
But
I have to leave to
Sure.
congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
But coming into this, we also saw quite a lot of new technology for Model 2, Model 3. It's not like something that is stuck in there. You can use it as something really cool for cocktails. When you get here, terpenoids, and you change the flavor of your cava, you change the flavor through peach, through cannabis, through whatever trend there is, without being an active ingredient, because it's terpenes we're talking about. So you can have opium terpenes, you can have, suddenly you can drink the taste of opium without having any effect, because it's terpenes. And this is like coming. Same way that they do the vaporizers and all of this, we can do this to the water, to the wine, to the cocktail. So we can do a line for cocktailery where people just then you get a glass with one dense thing and you put this on and it makes you totally different taste.
As an idea, it's fantastic. I just thought the high-end disruption is hard. So 4% successful.
Yeah, look Tesla. Look.
Do you know how long Tesla took to do that?
I know, but it happened.
Then it's still not profitable.
It's still not profitable, but it is very good.
That's besides the point.
I know what you mean. I know. He lost more than he actually got for 2 times already. But he's that visionary, he wants to go that crazy. So we just want to do this small loop. He wants to do the hyperloop, overloop, simple loop.
There's different businesses, but they came from low end to serve a certain clientele. Just saying, at any point, Mercedes owned 14% of the company, could have killed it any time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, that low end is probably a better choice.
But you would see it in the market?
This? I don't know which market.
If you see this in Indiegogo, in Kickstarter, will it appeal to you? It will be something.
Personally, yeah, because I hate plastic holdings. It really hurts my soul to even hold them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we can't do anything about it right now. If there's another option, yeah, but then I have to carry it with me. Then I have to encourage people to use it. Am I, as one person, am I influential enough to have another person to use it? This is the sort of question that you need to ask.
I think that comes with what do you get with it? In the sense of the app being really well done, in the sense of being something that you don't, it's not like these wearables that you actually have to have one more app and all of this, and you end up playing with it a month and then you leave it.
Yeah.
It's something that is actually increasing your life quality through information that it also tells you the water you drink anytime you use it. So you can also have a response to the bacteria that you've killed. I mean, there's a lot of registers that, imagine, we created this 2 weeks ago, the concept of this. But knowing that reality, there's a lot to dig into it that can make it more than just a walking pen that kills bacteria, because all the sensors of collected data that we can have can really be connected to your doctor, because this is what we're talking about, the future that everything is connected and we don't waste so much time before we get sick. We already know that we are low in this and that in your body. So we're gonna adjust the level of calcium or magnesium or vitamin B before we actually go to a low, so the body gets disrupted and creates a virus comes in or whatever situation you go through. So this is where we're going. I prefer to go there without hacking my body.
How are you going to make sure people trust this to tell you the right information?
Or trust you, I mean.
Because it's available in the market. They're already buying UV light to install in their houses all over the world for many years. It's a certificated method of clean bacteria. It's in the dentist.
I'm surprised
when
that
you go to a dentist,
no
they kill everything with ultraviolet. When you go to the dentist, it's all through this light to sterilize it.
You're right, yeah.
I just noticed that, for example, in Barcelona, everyone buys bottled water.
This
Exactly.
water is tap water. She was saying
Tastes
before that tap
awful.
water tastes funny.
Tastes very bad, and
I personally moved here and immediately installed the filter,
yeah,
and all my
That's it.
friends were like, wow, installed a filter, and now everyone, like 6 of them installed a filter
Yeah.
too, but it's obviously people don't trust it. There's
No, it just can be fucked.
And what filter do you use?
It can be going.
For example, carbon with
Right now, we
Vega,
just
with
installed a reverse osmosis.
reverse osmosis. It's dead water. It's very good for shower, but you shouldn't drink it.
But then you re-add some stuff in it.
Okay.
If
Are you
if
doing
you
that?
apply the U-loop to tap water in Barcelona, is the taste better afterwards? Or?
No, it will just give you security.
Yeah.
The taste you have to manipulate through the cartridges.
In Madrid, water is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So good.
amazing.
it's much, even the texture.
It's so good. I don't know how they can do that. It's such a large
It
city.
comes directly from the mountains, very close.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So good.
And
Wonderful. Hope all is successful.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.